Hi, Helix here with a look at Space Marine THQ's class-based first-person shooter coming out this September. It's set in the Warhammer 40k universe, which if you haven't experienced before is a fantasy slash sci-fi. Quite an interesting setting. So, Space Marine promises to be very interesting with its class-based multiplayer. It promises some very interesting melee combat, something that we haven't really seen in many first-person shooters so far, as well as a very epic, full-length campaign. So, there's a couple of missions available in the demo, and this first one is fairly simple. Basic set of weapons, and we're going to fight some orcs. So, in the campaign, you play as a group of Ultramarines, which are a group of Space Marines. Basic set of weapons. The chainsword is a very iconic weapon. That's what I'm carrying here.
They cannot hold for long.
Once the dialogue finishes, I'll be able to show you some more. Here we go. So the bolt pistol is the standard, infinite ammo weapon. Quite incapable of performing much damage. Stalker bolter, essentially a sniper rifle, reasonable scope. Whoops, I switched weapons. Reasonable scope, quite fast firing. Vengeance launcher is actually a sticky grenade launcher. You can drop them on the ground and trigger them, and then there's your standard automatic bolter.
What is that servo skull doing?
Trying to deliver a message. Must be damaged. The seal of the Inquisition. Interesting.
What is the Inquisition doing here?
We're about to find out.
This is Inquisitor Drogan. I need urgent assistance at Manufacturer Majakis. They're after the experimental device. The device is safe for the time being. I've drawn them off, but now I'm trapped. If I die, you must keep the device out of enemy hands, or he'll be unstoppable. I needed more time. I was nearly ready.
An experimental weapon.
We need to find the Inquisitor before the orcs do. Keep moving. Remain alert.
Alright, so as you can see up the top of my screen is my health bar. The golden outline is my armor, which regenerates quite quickly out of combat. And my second bar is the inside red, is the health. Health is rather difficult to get back. There's two main ways. The first is an execution move, which I'll demonstrate in a minute. And the second is Fury, which we'll get to later.
Captain, look! The orcs must be operating that crane.
They will not stop until they break through that gate.
We must disable that crane.
So, one thing that this game does really well is make you feel very impressed with yourself and powerful. Okay, so this is the execution I was talking about earlier. You can use a stun move with F, and then execute with E, which will give you a cinematic kill and regenerate some of your health. Definitely very useful, except if you're surrounded by a lot of orcs or other enemies. You actually end up taking more damage than you heal. So this I'm just using here as my standard bolter. It's quite heavy damage against these orcs. Probably the funnest side of combat, however, is the melee, which is fairly simple to do. It's just on the right click, as it's a fairly dominant part of the game's balance. We can hold down shift to sprint, which is rather impressive.
Cannons of base!
I love that gun. So, as you can see, I've lost a bit of shield, and it just pops back up now that I'm out of combat. Now, the emblem down in the bottom corner, the Ultramarine emblem, as you can see, is now almost full. I think it'll be full. There we go. Now it's full. That is my Fury bar. we're about to get attacked by a whole lot of orcs, and I can demonstrate what Fury does. So, Fury has benefits to both melee and ranged combat. You just hit T to trigger. Now, in melee, my attacks are now knocking the enemies back. And I didn't get a chance to demonstrate the range, but at range you actually get almost a slow motion effect to allow more precision with aiming. That was a charge. Charges happen if you make a melee attack while sprinting, and just a slightly more powerful version of the melee attack. And as you can see, I've just used an execute to get myself back to almost full health.
Everything is under control.
Time to die! Again! Shoot me again!
So the bolter is the iconic weapon of the Warhammer universe, 40k universe rather. Not many people actually realize the bullets fired by the bolter are actually explosive, which explains some of the gore that you see when you get a decent shot on one of these orcs.
Forward! Clear out the orcs!
You might have noticed them earlier, there was one in an earlier fight. This guy here is an orc knob, and basically they're terrifying. Last time I defeated him rather easily by the use of Fury. Unfortunately I have none left. This is an execute move, which I failed, unfortunately.
Orcs have managed to power that cannon.
And down he goes. So as you can see, against a stronger enemy, you can't just directly execute them. You get a cinematic combat sequence in which you have to, push the right buttons. And if you succeed, you get an execute. Otherwise, you'll actually take damage yourself.
Number 2 control deck, do you read?
This is Captain Titus of the Ultramarines. Identify yourself.
This is Corporal Antioch, sir. That is, my lord.
I need access to the Manufactorum, Corporal.
There is a service lift in the hangar directly below where you drop the cargo, my lord. We can meet you there.
Stand ready. We will be there shortly. Titus out.
So as you can see, as you can tell by that, Space Marines are considered rather higher than the Imperial Guard, which is who we were just talking to. If you ever played the game, you'll realize why. As you'll see later, they are quite useless.
A handful of guardsmen holding that huge gate. They cannot last long.
Oh, I forgot to demonstrate that earlier. Space is a roll. You can't actually jump as a Space Marine because you're wearing such bulky armor. So instead, Space does this roll out of the way. And I use Fury. So you see when I scope in, and now I'm back on full health. Now what we have to look out for at this stage is these exploding dog things. They're an absolute pain in the butt. Just wait for my health to come back up. Armor rather.
Space Marines! Kill them Space Marines!
Uh-oh. I'm dead. That was really the wrong weapon to use then, but...
Space Marines to kill smash those!
I love that. anytime a game gets you to jump into some kind of pit, you know that there's a lot of enemies coming. Luckily these Gretchens are pretty easy to kill. I hope I got the name right. I don't have the best knowledge of the setting. Some of my friends could definitely correct me on all of this, but last time I did this I used far too much stalker ammo, and now I'm almost out of bolter ammo.
My lords, you must hurry. The greenskins are on the move again. If they find the access point we are using, we will not last long.
And I always forget to use melee. I'm gonna wait for shields. There's a good example of using an execute to get health back. And it looks like my Fury's almost charged, which is going to be very useful in a... my apologies, my computer decided to minimize my game. So yeah, I've almost got fully charged Fury, which is going to be very useful in a minute.
Crush the Space Marines!
Kill the takes more than that to kill it all. Kill him!
My aim here is to get up to the final fight without dying, because I don't think I have very good chances of surviving that.
Space Marines! Kill the Space Marines!
There's that combo again. Stun and execute. Lovely, I'm almost out of ammo.